Good evening, sweet world. Hope you're all having a good day. Shabbat shalom to all concerned. I'm really excited to be doing a brief live stream here. I've invited some people into the chat. I hope that they can participate. I may have to change the angle on this in a little while, just to let you all know. But other than that, I'm real excited for this opportunity. TH is probably asleep because it's 7 p.m. in the central United States. That would probably mean for him it's pretty late, 2, 3 a.m. So I hope you're having a good night. You had said that you like a lot of different thrillers. You own some different thrillers. So I figured I might as well review 2 thrillers and then we can talk further about some other ones that we've both seen. And to everyone else out there, what are some of your favorite thrillers? What are some of your buddy cop movies that you like the best? Today we're going to talk mainly about some thrillers. As you can see, my dog's got her food right over there and some other items. And I'm turning this whole thing into a studio. That's why there's things piecemeal and stuff like that. And look at this little baby. Isn't she cute? Yeah. We don't like in thrillers sometimes how they use dogs as like or horror. They use dogs. When you see a dog in a movie, sometimes you know what's going to happen. So we're not much of a big fan of that type of thing. We like when the dogs are fully fleshed out characters that are not gimmicks. So anyway, I believe someone had asked me what my favorite or underrated directors are, and I replied John Schlesinger. Um, so I figured I would review a movie that I really like from him. Sure, it's not as well regarded as Midnight Cowboy, for which I believe it won Best Picture. It's not as well regarded as even The Day of the Locust, which was, I think, maybe maligned at the time, got some attention, maligned by the public, maybe, but most people acknowledge it's a wonderful movie if they see it. If they don't, they pretend they've seen it. So anyway, he made a lot of other movies through all the years, but let me just go ahead and read you about Pacific Heights as we wait for some others to join us. And if no one joins us, I'll go ahead and just review these and then maybe chime back on when more people are free. You want to keep it down a little bit, Bubba? Okay. So this stars Melanie Griffith, Matthew Modine, and Michael Keaton. And it actually was filmed in the 2 years in between Batman and Batman Returns. So Michael Keaton's extremely intense in this, pretty quiet, pretty manipulative, and pretty interesting of a character. Let me get to the description. I just want to make sure my little bitty little comment. Yeah, that baby. Yeah, that baby. Yeah, that baby. So Curly, you want to read this description of this to me? Okay. Okay, I read. All right. Patty and Drake. His name is Drake. Matthew Modine's character is Drake in this. I always thought that was funny. Patty and Drake want their downstairs tenant to pay the rent. They wanted a tenant in the worst way, and that's what they got. He won't pay the rent. They want him to leave. He won't. And the tenant, a sociopathic scam artist, has made sure he has the law on his side. Check all references. This is a really weird description. Maybe a landlord credo in the case of this jolting cat mouse thriller. Its references are impeccable. What? Melanie Griffith and Matthew Modine play the overmortgaged couple whose hope of keeping their renovated Victorian dream home depends on leasing the downstairs. Michael Keaton is Carter Hayes, frighteningly dangerous nightmare who's out to claim the house for himself. And John Schlesinger directs, lifting Pacific Heights into unsettling heights of palpable suspense. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Very suspenseful film. A lot of words in this description. Carter Hayes, they call him a nightmare here, and they call him a sociopathic scam artist. And I don't think that that's actually true in terms of how other villains are in these thrillers. I find that this guy actually has had kind of a raw deal due to some family and how he got beaten for having an affair with his one woman, played by Beverly D'Angelo. So that's his backstory. You'll learn more about it. Hans Zimmer, great score by him, and starts out where they are deciding whether or not they should move in together. They're not even married, and if they should buy this Victorian house, they get advice from this black guy in it, Dorian Harewood. He does a really good job, and Dorian Harewood's in, and also Carl Lumley. Carl Lumley plays a cop that they go to early on to tell him, the cop, like, "Hey, man, this guy's living on, living for free at this house." And Mako is another one of the tenants, and his Japanese wife. Mako, one of my favorite actors, was in a lot of movies in 1990, 91, including Taking Care of Business and some other films. He does a pretty effective job. Laurie Metcalf plays an attorney in this film. I think this is one of her more prominent film roles in that era. She's also in Internal Affairs in that era as well, partnered up with Andy Garcia, Billy Baldwin, and Richard Gere. So that's also another thriller. I don't own that one, so I won't be reviewing it right this moment. It's written by Daniel Pine. I have consulted with him on the writing of this screenplay and others. He also wrote Any Given Sunday. So he's definitely a very talented writer, and he had written a draft of another screenplay for a movie I was watching the other day. Don't remember. If I can remember it, I will try to post it here. But Daniel Pine had gotten. Maybe he wrote a draft of Super Mario Brothers? He may have written a draft of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Wow, what a variety of movies he's made in his career. Hey, what are you doing back there? Do you want to lie down somewhere and settle in? Yeah, settle in. How about that? I'm busy right now. Now you're gonna come over here. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing going on over here. All right. So we got no one in the live chat. Hope everyone's having a good night. If you see this a little bit later, I don't think there's a real relevant flaw to it. I think Melanie Griffith, she does kind of the investigatory microfilm type. In these thrillers, there's always the one that's reacting too much to the antagonist, and that's definitely Drake. You can watch a video where OCP Communications Mike Brown is talking pretty fierce towards Matthew Modine. Like, Matthew Modine, you got to calm down. And he does got to calm down. He overreacts, and he plays right into the hand of Michael Keaton's character in this. Melanie Griffith does more of the revealing about Carter Hayes, goes on road trips to find information about him. I had some avocado bothering my throat. I may have to cut this short. Oh, man. Pardon me. I have an allergic reaction to avocado right now. It's not good. Anyway, yeah, really good production design by Neil Spizak. I find the movie to be really well produced. No real problems with it. This guy that did the cinematography, I'm actually surprised he hasn't gone on to more movies. Amir Mokri. I think it's a strength of the movie. So I highly suggest checking out Pacific Heights. I kind of kept it vague about what happens in the second and third act as much because is it hard to predict what's going on? No, but you might as well just see it as it goes. The next movie is a little bit less of a thriller, but in the back of it, it calls it one of the most romantic movies ever made. But I think it's see? And then at the end of it, it says Ghost is a supernatural mystery thriller. So it's a romance, supernatural mystery thriller. Tony Goldwyn from Scandal, he does a really good role in this film. Patrick Swayze, this was right around the time where he was on top of the world. You got the next span of a couple of years, Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ghost, Point Break. Those 4 films, I don't know if any actor can ever really top in terms of just star power, appeal, just darn good performances, darn good movies. Are they the greatest ever? I would argue towards that, but hey, maybe someone would say no, they're not. They're just 4 really good movies. Regardless, you put those 4 really good movies on like I don't know, weigh him against other people's 4 movies that time. Sure, he made Tiger Warsaw. Sure, he made Next of Kin in that time period. But we're taking the best 4 that someone makes over a couple year period. Those are pretty solid. So one of the most memorable romantic films ever made. Patrick Swayze is like a stockbroker, and so is Tony Goldwyn. And at the beginning of it, she is Demi Moore. Wonderful role for her. She was supposed to be a sculptor originally, but then they changed it to being a clay maker or a potter type person, which obviously had the big potter's wheel scene would have never happened if she was a sculptor. So I'm glad they came around on that. The music in this movie, when you hear the song that's on it outside of the movie, you know what I'm saying? When you hear this song and it's not the movie, you think of the movie. Over time, oh, my love, your touch, a long, lonely time. Yeah, like that. I don't know, I can't sing. This one, supporting actress Oscar for Whoopi Goldberg. Now, I feel that she got this Oscar, and then like the last 27 years hasn't taken as many roles, straight up. She was in a lot more movies up to this point. Since then, she's been in a handful. Bogus, How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Soap Dish. I'm having a hard time naming them more. I mean, you got Eddie, the basketball movie. You got The Associate. Man, in a way, I'm glad she won the Oscar for this. Maybe if she didn't win the Oscar for this, she would have kept taking really cool or getting different roles. Because this is an awesome role for her. She playing a skeptical psychic with like a criminal record. And she's the only one that can see. Okay, because something happens to Patrick Swayze's character, right? And in order to protect the woman he loves, he's able to not necessarily leave this earth right away. And thus the movie's called Ghost. I highly recommend you check out Ghost. It is a thriller because in every one of these thrillers I'm going to talk about, usually it's either the new wife is not to be trusted, or the best friend is not to be trusted, or the nanny is not to be trusted, or the blah, blah, blah is not to be trusted. In this one, it's the best friend of her dead fiance or her dead boyfriend. And that's a unique one to me because it seemed really well done when I saw it the first time, and it still holds up. In fact, I love this movie. I might even put it on sometime soon. Great production design by Jane Muskie. Highly recommend this movie. Bruce Joel Rubin. Very interesting screenwriter, very interesting screenplay. His other works are, pretty good too, but this is a, outstanding work by him. And the film is edited by Walter Murch. That's a sign of quality right there. The director is Jerry Zucker. Check that out. Zucker, I think, had made the Naked Gun movies right before this, and Airplane and all that. And this was supposed to be almost a Spielberg movie at one point. I think even Robert Zemeckis was going to direct it at one point, and others were in line to direct this movie at one point. I don't know if it would have turned out as good if Mr. Zucker didn't make this movie. It's just, look at these scenes. These are good scenes of a movie. Very memorable scenes. All right, everybody. I've checked out these 2 movies. We don't got anyone getting involved too much in the chat right now. Before you know it, I'm going to be going through most of my collection. Go over some of the thrillers that I like. And I'm going to enjoy my Shabbat a little bit more. And I hope to check back in with you all in the future. Looking forward to talking more to Me Up. Looking forward to talking to Orc, Jay the Stingray, of course, TH, Mehmet in Morocco, and anyone else that wants to join. I will be in California sometime next week to make some money, going on a television show. Then I'll be coming back, so I'll still be live streaming as I'm going and wherever I go. And glad to review Kiss of Death the other day, and then Pacific Heights and Ghost. I could go a lot more in depth on these. Just put in the comments if you want me to do these in-depth reviews a little bit more. But I figure I might as well, leave a little bit of room for surprise for some. There are some movies I'll break down into, an hour-long live stream and all that, or discussion. But go ahead and get involved in the chat. Leave me comments. Tell me what times are best for your live chat purposes, live streaming. And I'm also learning how I can set up something through Google Chat or whatever, so I can have me talking and then other voices on the screen talking too, or faces and voices and all that. Really looking forward to talking to you all a little bit more, and have a great evening out there, great weekend. And we're looking forward to talking about movies again going forward. Bye for now.